Hello Internet, I'm Nick Acciani, and these are my adventures backstage. Today, I'm going to teach you guys how to properly coil a cable. So you might be thinking to yourself, but Nick, I already know how to coil a cable. All you do is this. Don't do that. That is one of the worst ways to coil a cable. Well, then, just this then. Just stop. Just stop. That is also not the correct way to coil a cable. The reason that coiling the cable both of those ways is wrong is because a cable is made up of a bunch of tiny little wires that are all twisted together. When you wrap it around your arm, you're bending those wires, and whenever you bend a wire, it eventually breaks. That shortens the life of the cable, and you want the cable to last as long as possible. When you're just wrapping it loop by loop, and when you're wrapping it around your arm, you're untwisting those cables, which again is shortening the life of the cable. And Murphy's Law, you will end up needing that cable last minute, won't have time to go out and get a new one, and that's when it's going to fail because you've been coiling it wrong the entire time. Maybe not you specifically, but someone else. So I'm going to teach you now how to coil it correctly. We're going to learn what's called the over-under technique. The reason we use this is because it doesn't bend the wires inside the cable. It stacks it nicely so it'll stay in a nice coil. It's not unwinding the wires, so when you lay out the cable after you've uncoiled it to plug it into a light, into sound equipment, into video equipment, it's going to lay straight. The more you unwind those wires, the more it's going to be all wonky and curly and not nice. The first thing you're going to do is hold your left hand out, palm up. You're going to put the cable in your left hand and hold on to it. You're going to take your right hand and go palm down, grab the cable, pull it straight across your body.
Oh yeah.
So that your arms are about 45 degrees from your body-ish. It doesn't have to be that exact. It's just a little bit further than shoulder width apart. You're going to take that and you're just going to make a loop. Now you might be thinking, we tried that and you said no. The first step is the same, is that loop. At this point, there are a lot of people who say, is this the right size? Do you need me to make it smaller, longer? And they take time trying to adjust the size of their loop. That doesn't matter. It's not the size of the coil, it's how you coil it. They're all going to be roughly the same size within like an inch or two of each other. So the second step, this is where it gets confusing and a little bit tricky. This is the hard part. This is where people get really confused and it takes them a long time to learn. Unless you're super coordinated, it's going to take a while, which is totally fine. You're going to start it the same as the first step. Your right hand, palm down, and grab the cable. Pull the cable straight across your body to just past shoulder width. And instead of looping it around normally, you're going to move your hand away from your body and loop that cable over. That hand motion that you're doing, if your hand is out, you're swinging it around like a flick of the wrist, like a Harry Potter spell. So you're going to Expelliarmus. To reiterate, pull the cable across your body, Expelliarmus motion, let the cable rest over your forearm, and then bring the cable back to your other hand and take it with your left hand. When you take it with your left hand, you'll notice the first loop, the cables are right next to each other. With the second loop, it creates this kind of X. That's what you want. Now, if your cable has been coiled incorrectly, which this cable has been for several times, and you'll see it's all kind of wonky here and not this nice coil. So what you do when that happens, if your coil does not sit nicely up against the other coils, like these are all sitting nicely up against each other, this one, okay, is sticking out a little bit. You want to twist the cable in your fingers until it does sit nicely. What you're doing here is twisting the wires inside back to their original shape. If you're really badass, when you get really good at that, instead of twisting it after the coil, you're going to twist it while you're coiling. So that's the first two steps. And now you just repeat steps 1 and 2 over and over again until the cable is coiled. So step 1, you're over. Step 2, pull it across, Expelliarmus, over the forearm, create your X, and grab it with your hand. So it doesn't matter if you end on an over or an under. The only thing that matters after you're done is tying it together. You can, yes, plug them into each other. That's not always the best way. I have on all of my cables a little Velcro strap just to wrap around the cord and hold it all together nicely like this. So here it is, nicely coiled cable. So that is basically how you coil a cable. Every theater I've worked in has coiled the cable the same way. It's a way to keep your cables nice and neat and tidy. It extends the life or keeps the life of the cable for as long as possible. In my entire career in theater, there's only been one company, and it was a sound company, and I won't say their name because I don't really remember it, but also I don't want people to lose jobs. They coiled all of their cables incorrectly. And the reason that they gave for coiling their cables around their arms or just looping and looping and looping them was because they didn't want to take the time to teach people who were helping them how to properly coil cables. And all the theaters they traveled to, people didn't always know how to coil the cable properly. That is such a horrible way to go about life. Knowledge is power, and it's meant to be shared with others. When you hold it on to yourself, you're doing yourself a disservice because your equipment is now being poorly treated and is going to have a shorter life than if you just took that time to teach people how to do it properly. And that's what I'm trying to do here. That's all I've got for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment below, and just remember, do what you love what you do. Nick out. Airplane. And dog. Is that dog dying? I don't think they know I'm trying to do a video here.